Hi, we're here at the Diversity Leadership Summit. Is that right?
That's correct.
And this is Ms. Carolyn Snell, and she's very much a part of the organizing. Actually, you're the director of this very important program that's going on today. Talk to us about it, if you will.
Our Diversity, Inclusion, and Leadership Summit stems from when we used to have the Black Executive Change Program under the National Urban League, and that phased out, but we wanted to keep the executives coming so they can talk to our students in reference to what's next after I leave Claflin. Am I prepared to go into the world of corporate? And so inviting the executive back gives the students a hand-on, a mentorship to have conversation with executives who are in the fields that they may be interested in going to. So it's been a wonderful day. This is our largest group. We have 19 executives here today. And so it's been a really great day.
One of the things that we've learned is that a good number of these people are also graduates of the university. Is that right?
Correct. There are 4 here from major corporations that are alums of Claflin University.
My name is Carolyn Gass. I am a graduate of Claflin. I am with Lowe's Home Improvement. I've been with the company for over 14 years and held several different hats there. So I'm truly excited to be here and share my story.
Topics today do center around soft skills, and that is something that we keep hearing from you. We keep hearing from corporations is that technically the students, their technical skills are pretty good and they look really good on paper, and they're coming with the knowledge of the soft skills.
Young people today's perspective in terms of what's ethical and what's of value, and so a lot of disconnects that they will find some harsh realities once they get into the real world and realize just what they're held accountable to. So that is a very, very important topic, and I truly wait to see what kind of dialogue we'll have with that particular one.
Great. I've been with the district for about 2 years. However, I have been in higher education recruitment for the last 15 years.
Good morning. My name is Roxy Johnson. I am the training manager for Verizon Wireless in Elgin, South Carolina. And my responsibility is learning and development and continuing education for our employees, soft skills training, and this is my 20th year with Verizon.
Sure. My name is Heather Turner. I serve as the Regional Recruitment Director for the South Region. I'm based out of Columbia, South Carolina. This is my 11th year with the organization, so I'm super excited to be here. It's like my 3rd or 4th year doing this.
My name is Donna Goff. I'm the chair of the Department of Mass Communications at Claflin University. This is a program that we offer every spring here at Claflin, and we're so glad to have you and have our employers here to talk to you, to share with you some great experience and job-seeking information. First is soft skills that employees need and personal ethics. And then the one that will start at 11 is effective communication skills and dress for success. So hopefully you will get a lot out of our sessions this morning.
My name is Cheryl Carter. I currently work for Boeing. I've been with Boeing for probably longer than most of you guys have been born. I started off on the space shuttle program in Florida, which is where I'm from. I started out working on the space shuttle's main engines, and then I transferred over to working on the payloads.
My name is Gerard King. I'm a senior special agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF. I've been with the agency for 28 years. I'm retired in the United States Army. I'm a Bosnian War veteran, and I am currently operating in a HR capacity. I'm the regional recruiter and public information officer. So I hire all the interns and all the agents in North and South Carolina.
My name is Charles Kears. I'm a member of the National Talent Acquisition Team for Verizon. I've been with the company for 15 years, served in various roles, including leadership. I was over new hire for quite a bit of time, and now I staff for the largest center in operation sitting out of the Columbia area right now.
The first thing I always tell people when you're trying to figure out what kind of degrees you need or what you want or which way you want to go is to first find your passion. That's what I always tell people, because I think if you find your passion, everything else will fall into place. Then I would suggest that number 1, you speak to a counselor. Number 2, you try to hook up or link up with someone that is doing what you want to do. And that can kind of help guide which way you want to go.
Internships is your best bet, paid or unpaid. That's one of my biggest regrets from college is that I didn't take advantage of the opportunity to do enough internships. So my background is in accounting, but I realized about 4 months after graduation and working in the accounting field that I actually hated accounting, which is how I ended up at City Air and completely changing my entire career path. to nonprofit and leadership in nonprofit. And that was because I didn't follow my passions. I was following the money at the time because I was a young college student. I just wanted to make money.
I tell people, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for someone who has the mojo. I'm looking for people who are well-rounded. I need you to be able to talk to people from the outhouse to the White House and everybody in between. I need people that speaks the King's English.
And so now, working in a team environment is something that you have to do. Everything is in teams. And so instead of having to have all these people you go between, you have to be able to communicate, maybe even at a staff meeting with your vice president or your senior vice president or something like that. So the ability to be able to work with folks from all walks of life is very, very important.
But when you're in an environment that changes a lot, it can personally get frustrating. They put demands on your time. You have to understand work-life balance. What does that look like, as well as growing in your career? And how do you own your own development?
That was something that I was kind of want to be passionate about, owning your own career, not letting someone else kind of tell you what the next step should be for you. And you will run into that. You'll have managers tell you this should be the ideal step for you. And I think you have that as HR, you have to kind of find that balance. Even for myself, I'm in HR and not letting my manager, who is the head of talent acquisition or recruiting, tell me what I think should be the correct step for me. So I think finding that balance as an HR professional and as just in general, finding that balance is key.
I will say, I don't think we in my organization have a difficult time finding talent. I think we can do that, and those that come we're able to develop them. The problem we often see are people who have made bad decisions, and those decisions have now hindered their ability to gain employment with our organization.
Understanding the importance of ethics and human resources, please explain the importance of using standards for decision making.
In certain areas, you just have to have those things you have to know. And so that's why it's so important to know and understand the business of your company, and also be aware that there are just some things that just have to be. You know, on the corporate side, which of course I've been working more in, they may be a little bit more flexible.
This session is on soft skills, and it's very critical for students to understand because it can impact their careers, long-term and short-term. So our 6 panelists are talking about things such as internet soft skills, writing, communication, and how to be effective in what they do with teams. So soft skills is critical for student success.
You have to make sure that you identify with the people, right? So recognize the people and then separate the person and professional, right? Because you want to make sure that when you walk in there, that confidence is there, but that confidence comes within yourself.
Because you want to build relationships with your team, you want to build relationships with your client, and in order to do that, you have to maintain an open mindset to know that none of us are perfect, we all make mistakes, we all can do better. There's never an opportunity where we've just maxed out on what we know because the world is ever changing.
Communication is one thing, but being able to effectively communicate. And even 20 years in, that's something that I'm still learning. I did not take public speaking classes in school. I did not want to speak when I was in school. So this position, which kind of pushes me to the forefront in terms of speaking, has been huge for me.
I would say I want to share 2 things. One is being receptive to feedback. It's so important when you come in any industry. Even being a student, that's important. A lot of times, I say to people all the time, feedback is a gift, and what you do with it is up to you. But if you think about the last time somebody gave you a gift, or when someone gives you a gift, do you give it back and go, you know what, I don't really like this? You don't, because that would be rude, right?
I think one I'd share with you is accountability. If you make a mistake, own it, because you're going to make one. We all do. But you have to have that ability when you make a mistake to be up front and say, my bad. Right? But when you're in your relationships with your significant other, friends, whatever, it becomes a little more difficult to say, my bad, I'm sorry, because now there's ego at stake. Maybe there's a relationship at stake. And then in your career, now you got your job at stake, your source of income. And so if you make a mistake at work, or do something that, not intentionally, but just something that you drop the ball on.
Tell me something about yourself. And I start rattling something off my resume, and he said, no, not something that's on this piece of paper. And I was like, oh, crap, I didn't prepare to actually tell them who I am. So, you know, bringing your guard down so that you can move yourself a bit.
I would also say that you need to address specifics. If I say, tell me about a time that you had a conflict in the workplace and how you resolved it, and if you start spinning some generic tale about, well, this would have, I want to know. I mean, we can tell when it's not something real. And if I ask you to tell me an area in which you could improve, I have literally had tens of people, when I've asked that question, say, I just can't think of any area that I can improve. I'm like, really?
How did you handle that? It's the exact same question. It talks to the exact same type of experience and how you would handle conflict. Does that make sense? So you just have to figure out a way to make it so that it's appropriate for the demographic that you're talking to.
One of the things that I heard in one of the sessions, they talked about grooming and hair and clothing and interview preparation, all those things that are not necessarily always taught in the classroom. It's taught at home, but I guess Claflin is using these sessions as a way of reinforcing those understandings. Is that it?
That's very true. In addition to that, we have what we call the Panther Closet, and we have alums, we have Board of Trustee members, we have the President's Office, faculty and staff that donates clothing for students to get ready for their interviews. But we feel that if the executives share what's expected, what's the culture of their workplace, that it helps the students to know that, yes, I can do my jeans and shirts, but when I go out to work, it's a different culture.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Snell. Thank you so much.